Well, hello friends. Welcome back to another Truth for Today. I'm Pastor Mike, coming to you from the Lighthouse Baptist Church here in Seagrove, hoping today's devotion finds you doing very well. We are taking our reading today from the book of Psalms, chapter number 51 and verse number 1. And before we hop into the verse, I want to remind you that Psalm 51 is basically a psalm of David's repentance. He has made some terrible decisions. He has basically had one of his top military officials killed so that he could have his wife. And he actually had already committed adultery with her before that, found out she was expecting. And so because of all the bad decisions he's made, he is now in a quandary. Nathan the prophet has come to him and told him that his child was going to die, which happened, by the way. And Psalms 51 is a cry of David. He's crying out and he's trying to get right with God. And here's what he says in verse 1 of Psalm 51. "Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness. According unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions." I want to really focus on and insinuate in this passage the mercy of God. David here, when he finds himself in a quandary, and when he finds himself really in trouble because of the decisions he had made to sin against God, notice what he does. He basically throws himself at the feet of God's mercy. He's reminding, he's calling out for, he's pleading his case, not on his own goodness, but on the fact that God's a merciful God. And I wanted to take this devotion for a moment and remind us all that when we find ourselves in these situations, and when I say that, some people will be like, oh, I ain't done what David's done. It doesn't matter. If you and I, and we do, from time to time, stumble and we sin and we mess up. When we do, the reaction is not to keep going down that path. The reaction that God is looking for is for us to call out for mercy. In a repentant heart and with an attitude of owning what he did, David said, Lord, because of your mercy and because of your loving kindness and because of the tenderness of your mercy toward us human beings, would you please blot out my transgression? That's what David's doing. He's making a plea for forgiveness. Can I say this, that when we have sinned, that's a cry that God hears. That's a cry that God responds to. Now, it didn't divert the fallout of what David did, but it did salvage David's life from ending up like a Samson, meaning just a story that spiraled out of control until finally its end was destruction. And can I say the mercy of God is the bridge, mind you, between a Christian sinning and finding a place of forgiveness and restoration versus, listen to me now, complete destruction. When we sin, all we have to do is walk across that bridge of repentance onto the land of God's mercy and find help, hope, and restoration. So if this devotion finds you in a place where you really don't want to be, you didn't mean to get there, understand the mercy of God is what will lead you back to where you really need to be. Hope today's devotional thought will encourage your heart, lift your spirit, lead you, if need be, back to a place of restoration. And may the Lord richly bless you today is our prayer.